going to talk about self-control. All right, so self-control can be with anything that's going on in your life, anything that you're doing, but we're going to focus this more around food and pertaining to health and fitness. Okay? All right, awesome. So let's dive in. When people actually become honest with me, they tell me that they lack self-control for something, for a certain type of food, whether it's, well, more than likely it's a very palatable food, so it's something that's sweet, savory, salty, something like that. And it's something that's, they're never, something sweet and savory and salty is never good for us, right? Especially with that combination. So what happens when we crave certain things? All right, sometimes we replace it with, okay, so I'm craving chocolate. I want chocolate. I want chocolate. Okay, well, to satisfy my craving, maybe I'll eat chicken or something else or anything, right? I try to fill the void, and then what happens is I end up overeating, or we do exactly what we want and we grab a 30-pound bag of chocolate and we eat it all in one sitting, and then we feel terrible for a few days. Right? Does that happen to you? I hope so, because it happens to me. It happens to everyone. But how do we gain more self-control? First thing I want to talk about is, have you had a craving for something that is so uncontrollable and you're not pregnant? Right? Okay, so that's a whole nother story there. We're not going to get into that one. But have you had an urge for something, whether it's chocolate or ice or anything like that, or anything, absolutely anything, something salty, mashed potatoes, anything. If you've had an urge and you recognize it, that this is, it keeps happening, right? There's a pattern to it. You could have a vitamin or mineral deficiency, and these deficiencies cause us to have a craving for something that we know as a certain type of flavor or tastiness. Does that make sense? Right? So if you're low on iron, you can be craving ice. There's other things too with iron. Chocolate is magnesium. Could be. So there's a lot of evidence to show that this is real. But for the most part, all of us should be able to handle most things that are thrown at us. Maybe once in a while we'll have a bad day and you cave. It happens. It's life. Okay? Don't dwell on it. Move past it. It happened. Get over it. Okay? Moving on. Awesome. But if it's something that's repetitive every day or every morning or something that's very repetitive, you might want to get a vitamin and deficiency test, because there might be an underlying issue why you're craving that sweet, that salty, that savory flavor, of something that's very palatable. And by palatable, I mean something that is absolutely delicious and filled with flavor, like pizza or candy bars, sugars, other types of candies, salty things. All of these things, our body can crave those because they're the extreme side of something that we want or that's missing. Does that make sense? So once again, if it's something that's repeating, and okay, so say you just like chocolate and you always want some chocolate. Okay, and that's there. Okay, well, you recognize it. You know you like chocolate, so you're craving some chocolate. No big deal. But if you notice that you're doing something and all of a sudden you've never eaten this much chocolate before, or it's this urge that you have to have it, you're willing to run to the store to get it, there could be something wrong. Okay? Or if you've never chomped on ice before, next thing you know, you just like the feeling of the ice on your teeth or something like that. Okay? These little hints, somebody actually made a book about it. I forget what it's called. But there's all of these hints that our body throws at us to tell us we're deficient in something. So we can get a vitamin deficiency test done, or it's called an organic acids test done. And that one is absolutely phenomenal. If you guys need to look into it, it's a urine test, and that brings a ton of stuff to light, along with a vitamin and mineral deficiency test. Okay, moving beyond the vitamin and deficiency test, self-control. How do we control ourselves with something so that way we don't overdo it, right? Okay, so for myself, I have a very low-carb diet, high in fat, moderate protein. Okay, so it's more of a fat-adapted diet, not a ketogenic diet, because I still enjoy carbs on a small scale, and I don't count the carbs that are in my vegetables against me. Like, they're not negative carbs, because I eat so much veggies to fill me because I'm a volume eater. So I'll easily surpass carbs that I'm allowed on a ketogenic diet. So it's more of a fat-adapted diet. Light carbs, very light carbs. Anyway, for myself, I love sweets. I always did, always will. I love my sweets. And it took me a long time to figure out what can I do to allow myself to enjoy something, not feel bad about it, and be happy with it. So this is what I do. As of right now, this is the kick that I'm on. I have a rice cake in the morning with jelly on it. And that allows me to make it through the day without any other type of sweets. Okay? And I crave it though. I love having it in the morning. I look forward to it in the morning. But the 100 calories, the 110 calories, 150 calories, maybe even 200 calories, if I get a little excited with the jelly, even if I'm eating 200 calories in one day from something that is not the best, right? A rice cake is pretty plain. It's rice. It's puffed rice. It's gluten-free. But the jelly that's put on it, not so much, but it is a smaller amount. So if I'm eating 200 calories a day of something that is not the best for me, do you think that that's going to ruin my entire diet? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You should not have any worry in the world about that. You have, obviously, just on average, we have an average of 2,000 calories in our diets. It might be different if you're a very small person or a very large, tall person like myself. But on average, we have 2,000 calories. So if you have just 200 calories from carbs or from something that you enjoy, so that way you don't blow the rest of the day, don't you want to do it? I think that makes perfect sense. And I don't know why it's taken so long to do this. And even for my clients that I have, a lot of them, they're like, this is so easy. Why didn't I just allow myself to eat something before? Whether it's something sweet, salty, savory, but something that's not good for us, very palatable foods. Obviously, we cannot eat an entire pizza, and it's hard just to order one slice of pizza. So, stick to something else that can help you fill that void, fill that craving, so you can make it through the rest of the day and absolutely kill it. Now, I'm not saying that my diet is the style for everybody. My diet definitely changes a lot. And now they're showing evidence that your diet needs to change with the seasons of the year because of how our bodies have evolved, and sunlight in the cold and everything like that. So it's pretty crazy. Just a short story here. If you're out in the sun more often, you can actually have more carbs because your cells are absorbing the energy from the sun and they need more energy. How crazy is that, right? So summertime, or if you live in a really hot place and you're in the sun all the time, you can actually have a higher carb diet than most. Now, not saying that works for everybody, but they're actually showing that the body falls into somewhat of a season where it'll perform its best and be optimal with following certain different diets, right? If you think about the winter times in places that have had winters, and if say we evolved going through these winters, what was not around? Berries were not around, grasses, anything that grows, right, was not around. So in the wintertime, our diets were more of a carnivore diet or a caveman diet. So what was around in the winter? More animals, more animal fats, fish, things like that. And so there's becoming more evidence behind all of this. I'm not saying go do all this, but research it, guys. It's all out there. It's all amazing. Anyway, this could be also why you're craving different things different times of the year. So if you are, look into it. Holy cow, we're already in 10 minutes. All right, so guys, we'll reel it back in real quick. Self-control. If you have a problem with it, find a solution that you'll enjoy and you'll be happy with. Because if you cheat this much out of this much, and it barely affects you, but it allows you to enjoy everything else that you're doing that day, it gives you the satisfaction of something sweet or something savory, whatever it is, then do it. Add it into your diet. Add it in your program. Keep it low. I'm a bigger individual, 200 calories. So if you keep it below that, that's amazing. And I know a lot of people that suffer with this. Just be honest with yourself and say, I like to binge. Or when I have a rough day, I like to eat chocolate. So be honest with yourself. Okay, instead of eating an insane amount of chocolate on days that I have bad days and my work stresses me out, so I always have a bad day, what can I do to enjoy it? Like myself, rice cake with a little jelly on it. I love it. It's amazing. And I hope that makes some sense for you guys. All right, guys, if you know one person that needs to hear this, please share this with them. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. Dogs are barking. I think there's a cat outside. And if someone needs to see this, please share this with them. Like I said, become the best you guys. And I'm super excited for day 27.